Okay, this is the third time I've tried to make an about my truck video. Cause it's a unique rig, and I don't know, every time I make a video, it's like, the first one, I left out all kinds of details, I scrapped that one, and then the second one, I kept moving this around, the side view, the thing, and it got annoying. So, let's try this again. So, this truck, I swear it's been almost a month now, I have converted it to a diesel. I put the EcoBoost badges on there because I thought it was hilarious. Yeah, this is my EcoBoost truck. I get the fuel mileage of a Honda Civic, but the truck-like capabilities and the power of a well, I can't even see the power of V8 because this has more power. It was an automatic. Converted it to a 4-speed manual. I'll be getting a 5-speed soon. I'm gonna put the clutch pedals and everything there. I got one new brake pad pedal, but I thought that, you know, they were going to be different, so I bought another pedal pad, and that didn't work, so I got to buy another one of those, and then we're good. But whatever. Had a few pinholes in the floor, nothing too serious. I just took the whole carpet out because I needed to inspect the floors and stuff while I converted it. And I wanted to cut a hole without getting stuff caught up in it. There she be. I'll go over the real basics here. I do tend to roll coal. I don't have an exhaust yet. So I made a wiring harness for this engine. So on the engine you have 2 plugs, and then from the truck for power and gauges, oil and water. These all plug up together, so I didn't hack the truck's wiring harness. I just use the fuel hose here, the steel line. Just cleaned it out and reused it. It's been working pretty good. Still haven't replaced the pump or the filter. I need to do that next. Yeah, I just resoldered all these connections back here. They were just a little goofy. Here's my throttle. I took the carburetor stud, put it on here, and it fit my throttle cable. And this is just how the cable is with the truck. It just comes out and it's just long enough to hit this bracket. They put a million nuts on this bracket. This is like that when I got the engine. I thought that was kind of interesting, so I just kind of smashed it in there. These plates here are a Ford inline 6 frame mount, or frame to engine motor mount, and then you have little square motor mounts right down there, and then go to these little plates. Looks something like that. Here, I'll show you the other side. Yeah, it looks like that. So yeah, real simple. Once it bolted in there, the manual transmission with the automatic and manual motor transmission mounts are the same, so they bolted right up to the transmission, and that went right into the cross member. I didn't have to change anything. I might have to when I do the ZF5. I'll see. But for right now, everything was bolted in there. It has a H1C turbocharger that I do need to replace with a rebuilt one. And the seals are going a little bit wonky. So it burns just a tiny bit of oil, but not a whole lot. And I've got my homemade cold air intake tube. I reused that from when I had that on the V8. Electric cooling fan that doesn't have to come on at all. This is my little relay key on jumbled up mess for the vacuum pump run the brakes. That's for the airbags. Had to cut the hole for the clutch thing. Boost gauge hose. I use the copper one, not the stupid plastic that doesn't work. So I'm gonna key you in on this little setup here. So this engine uses a newer style starter and alternator. Going back to the previous starter and alternator, you had just a big power cable, being this black one, went down to the starter, and that was it. And then you had 3 wires going to your alternator. One is turn it on, one for the charge, and then there was another one that went to the carburetor, whatever, thingamajigger. So screw that now. We have a Delco Remy GM style alternator. It's kind of like a 1-wire. And what I did is I took the Ford wiring. I just took the there's one that's a key-on that excites the fields, and that comes off of the regulator here, which I'm still using. And then you have a thicker one that charges the battery. So this one hooks up normally. It's kind of hard to see though on this. But see, on your plug you have a thick one. You just run that right to your battery hookup, like the positive, or just jump it right to the back of the alternator where your battery hookup is. And then there's that little skinny wire down at the bottom. That wire is your field exciter. And what you want to do is run that to your little key on wire, which is going to be this one right here. It's almost like a brownish color. In fact, I think it's this wire right here. Yeah. So you that's pretty much all you need. You know, you put key on, this regulator comes on, and then key on goes down to that thing, excites it, and then you got your battery connection. And there's it's a straight connection to the battery. It splits off somewhere. So I think if that goes out, it still will charge. I don't know. But I just kept it simple. Didn't have to hack anything there. All I know is that the that alternator, internally regulated alternator, works with the external regulator and keeps this at a nice 14 some odd volts. So there's that. The starter is a Cummins starter. It's a 2-wire. So we have, this is our starter wire right here. This goes right down there, and then this black wire here comes over and it powers our accessories. Then this wire here, this is only gets power when you go to start. So what this guy does, he goes down to the little solenoid down at the bottom and triggers the starter. So that's how I wire that up. This thing uses hose barb fittings for the heater hose were the same as the one on the V8, so I was able to use my brand new heater hose. And I just tied that in there, and so I hooked it up down at the bottom and at the top. It works great. And then the radiator hose that came with the engine is the same size as the upper Dodge Ram one that you would use with the 4BT. Over an oversized coupler, oversized on this end as well. I need to clean this up, this looks ugly. But it just ram those on there and they don't come apart. And this will on into here. And then this one here, I took the lower V8 radiator hose and switched it around so that it comes up and it clears part of the frame and clears the gearbox, and then goes right down to this fitting. This end here is not oversized, but this end over here is. So this one here will need a bead put around it, and then it won't potentially pop off. But I've driven around in like 100-degree weather and have yet to have these pop apart. So yeah, using the stock radiator. I'm gonna get a new one soon. This one here is just holding me off. It's working all right for this Cummins. Actually, it's actually working really well. It runs at operating temperature, 180 degrees. But when it goes into the radiator, It gets about halfway here, and then it just goes all the way down here to like 90 degrees and goes into the engine. Comes out 180, goes in 90 degrees. So it's running pretty good. Modified the injection pump just a tiny bit, rotated the fuel pin, that's all I did. Gave it a good boost in power. Makes about 18 pounds of boost. I'm guessing probably makes 125, 130 horsepower now instead of 105. Probably 300 foot-pounds of torque. You know, it chirps the tires. It gets going pretty good. Just a two-wheel drive truck. I wanted to keep it that way. Keep it as factory, except for the engine part. Let's see, the other thing was, yeah, the manual transmission. That's nice. Nice having that. I really like it. This is where my gets its cold air from. Goes right in there. It's forced up, and then the engine sucks in the cold air. I've been getting about my combined MPG is it's 29 miles to the gallon, which is really good. I did a little run on the highway doing 60, which is about as fast as I want to go with it until I get the overdrive. I'll be able to do about 80, but she did about, I think, 34 on the highway, and then in the city I get about 25, 26, and then but combines like 29 something. But when I went to fill up, I did 103 miles, and part of that was highway. Probably about 30 miles of it was highway, and then most of it was city. I drove to work and drove around here and stuff, and I only had to put 3.2 gallons. 3.5 would have really topped it off. That would so I went and estimated that I used 3.5 gallons of fuel. That put me at 29 mpg. So just farting around doing everyday driving, 29 mpg. Just straight city, probably 25 because of the stop and go, but you know what, that's awesome. Love this truck. I originally bought this truck for $500 and a 5.8. Had to put the EcoBoost badges on it. I get some looks for that one. Put some sway bars on it, front and rear. I put new tires on it a couple years ago. My cousin had this truck for a little bit. He freaking wore that thing down. Got airbags in there somewhere. One of the things that you got to do when you convert these trucks is you have to put that little monster in there. Oh yeah, that smells like diesel. I love it. I love the smell of diesel. I wouldn't trade it for the world. Ain't for anything in the world. Boost gauge. All the gauges in here work. Speedometer, not quite yet. The worm gear and the transmission I got is worn out. I am running a junkyard transmission in here, and it's been doing fantastic. If I said fantastic, I meant fantastic. But yeah, I've been really happy with this truck. I haven't had any breakdowns or nothing. It's been real consistent. Starts and drives every day. Real consistent. The lights don't flicker on it anymore because of the new alternator, and it just it charges really well. And the fan works on one, you know, whatever speed you have it on, it just stays on that speed consistently. It's not, you know, idles down and then your fan's all weird and stuff. And I love the new power steering pump. This Saginaw pump. Oh man, what a treat. That is so nice to have. That quieted the steering. It made it even nicer, really. I mean, it was easy before, but now it's got a certain butteriness to it. It's real smooth, and I love it. But Sadly, my truck gets about the same miles to the gallon my car gets. Highway and city. Which is good, because I don't have to spend a whole lot of money on fuel anymore. I do really like to drive this truck. And it's, I don't feel claustrophobic. And I actually don't feel claustrophobic in this thing, but, you know, when I drive this truck, people tend to kind of get out of my way, or don't try and cut me off. I get kind of bullied around in my little Mazda 3 there. So yeah, I think I'm gonna give this bad boy here a bath, scrub them down, clean it up a little bit, vacuum out the bed here, get this scrap out of here, clean them up. Yeah, this thing here was for a 2002 Dodge Ram. Yeah, I made it work in my Ford. Oh yeah, I do have some Chevy parts in here. S10 vacuum canister. Works great. I don't know if it's... Oh, no, it's not holding here. I got some leaks in the system here. I need to get a new hose. That's all just one piece. So I'm gonna work on that when I start getting paid again. I had a few days off of work, so I'm a little low on cash. Let's see, this is rubbing. I don't like that. Okay. And I got some straggler wires here. I should tape those up together. Oh, maybe I'll work on that. But anyways, if you guys have any questions, please let me know. I'll be more than happy to answer them. I will recommend one thing that you run with the diesel, especially on an engine you haven't used in a while. I've been running this. Every time I put fuel in it, I put a little bit in there, and it just helps with all the fuel injection parts and stuff, injection pumps, injectors, whatever. I've been running that, and it's been really, really nice. I'm sure it's just as fine with regular diesel, but the added, you know, help of the lubrication really does it a favor. And I just changed the oil on it not too long ago, which was yesterday. Yeah, nice and clean. Yep, that's the 4BT, non-intercooled.